Hello, conspiracy junkies. Welcome to the Conundrum Times, where we conspire, question, and examine facts, historical events, and what the world wants us to believe as the truth. So join us as we venture out on our very first journey, the conspiracy of how Adolf Hitler died.
27 April 1945, River Elbe, Germany. Soviet and the American armies meet and rip off the German army. The fall of the tyrannical regime of Nazis was inevitable, and only our beloved Führer could see that. Fast forward to 29 April and he does what you expect from your classic dictator, gets married. The newlyweds surely planned their honeymoon well, for the radio stations crackled everywhere after a day or two to announce their suicide. Adolf Hitler had shot himself and his new wife Eva Braun died due to the administration of cyanide, after which it is claimed that their bodies were burnt. Now we will never know what their travel or celebratory plans were, but the world surely celebrated.
The Soviets started searching the bunker for bodies. Shortly after this, Marshal Zakharov, commander of Russian forces in the Battle of Berlin, tells Western papers that they have found the body. And here is where things twisted, because after a while, Stalin contradicted him and told his close friends in high places that Hitler was alive. This led to the reversal of Zakharov's statement within days, and what was instead made public was the fact that the body that Soviets found was a very poor double of Hitler. Along with this, various kinds of comments were made by Russian officials like, Hitler has gone hiding in Europe, pointing at Spanish dictator General Francisco Franco for sheltering him. This set the stage for his possible escape, and various probable theories started coming up.
With this, investigative bureaus around the world went on alert. The world's greatest criminologists were on the hunt for Führer, as they couldn't buy the story of Hitler's chauffeur burning the bodies of the couple as the remains were unidentified. At the time, the major question was that if the remains from the mass grave found near the bunker which too was burned could be identified, why was there no identification of Hitler and Braun's body? Around this time, Hitler's citing Scott Pace, a Paris source for Central Press, reported that Hitler is alive and resided in the Alto Adige region of Italy. There were some mysterious movements of large German-type transport planes in and out of the mountainous regions of Spain. A Japanese Navy officer supposedly mentioned details of a plan to evacuate Hitler and his wife to Japan after the fall of Berlin. Various factors fueled this theory, as there was considerable amount of submarine traffic between Japan and Germany. Besides, it was also speculated that many Nazis had escaped to Japan. Another claim that came up and was investigated by British intelligence was by Luftwaffe Captain Peter Baumgart, that he flew Hitler and Braun to safety in Denmark on April 28, 1945. This claim too got worldwide coverage but was not supported much for Baumgart's counterparts, who contested his claims strongly.
Another very interesting theory suggests that the Nazis built a base in Antarctica with secret underground tunnels and a whole new research base to upgrade their technology. Wow, this makes one go back to that one time when Marvel came up with the arbitrary regime of Hydra, which lived on along with the frozen Captain America. Creepy much? Anyway, they had a whole team of superheroes. We ain't got a hot Captain America to save our asses. Moving on, the story says that while exploring and mapping the area, they uncovered a multitude of underground caves and rivers. One of the caves was particularly large and was turned into a large city that would be home to Nazis. There are also claims that they came in contact with aliens and learned to develop new technology in order to make weapons.
Okay, wow, just imagine Hitler meeting an alien. What an experience, and then educating him too. Look, fellow, I don't know where you're from, and I will totally ignore the fact that I'm standing beside an alien in real time, making my Aryan ass absolutely insignificant, and ask you to read my manifesto and join me in making the world a pure place.
So, coming back from the fantasy world, these beliefs are extraordinary, or what some of us would say, complete hokum. because there is no evidence that the Nazis ever did or were even capable of building such a base.
Geologist and oceanographer Colin Summerhays partnered with journalist and historian Peter Beeching to examine evidence about Antarctica and the Nazis. According to them, the Nazis did venture out to Antarctica, but the expedition was not as grand as the conspirators would want us to believe, but it was just a single ship in order to explore their whaling potential. Another fact that works in favor of this story is the Antarctic Treaty. This treaty protects Antarctica from any invasion or missile attacks as it has become a research center. Now, this may lead to people believing that something fishy is going on there, but there is no evidence to actually sustain these theories. Now, the question that arises here is that despite such little evidence, why are people so invested in this theory? And the answer is much simpler than what we expect.
Antarctica is unreachable. It is a land where no man has lived, and its snow-covered exterior makes it extremely mysterious. Another contributor to this belief is that there have been some bizarre military activities that have occurred in Antarctica over the years, such as the supposed German boats coming or the US project Operation High Jump. These strange events and the lack of information around them often lead people to conclude that something is hidden under the layers of this southern extremity. Along with this, the FBI also got tons of letters with various intriguing claims.
On 21st September 1945, comes in a letter narrating the story of Hitler's escape to Argentina. A Los Angeles Examiner reporter's friend mentioned as Jack met a man who claimed to be an Argentinian official who had fled to United States. He didn't want his identity to be revealed, but just had to take off his chest the weight of having carried the Adolf Hitler to the foothills of Andes Mountains in Argentina. He claimed to be one of the 4 men who met Hitler on the Argentinian shore approximately after 2 weeks of the fall of Berlin. According to him, Hitler came along with 50 others and went into hiding in the town. He also mentioned that Hitler, when he saw him, was suffering from asthma and ulcers and had shaved his mustache, which revealed a distinct butt on his upper lip. He even wrote personally to then Director of FBI, J. Edgar Hoover, and gave Hitler's exact location, which he alleged was 675 miles west of Florianopolis and 430 miles of Buenos Aires.
The escape to Argentina theory was backed up with various other speculations, like dwellings of many other important Nazi officials who fled to Argentina. Among them were Count Karl von Luxemburg, chief of Nazi intelligence, the self-styled and later Hitler's successor, Admiral Karl Dönitz, and Richard Schroeder. Having said this, Buenos Aires embassy did send a letter to FBI denying all these claims and rumors, and in fact asked them to not trust sensationalist journalists. With no concrete evidence, these theories were growing continuously. Conspiracy theorists and many journalists started researching. Books were written, documentaries were made. A name we cannot miss is that of Gerald Williams. He is an esteemed international journalist and historian. One day, this fine inquisitive man, while reporting in Argentina, discovered evidence that changed his entire perspective of history. That is how the journey of the Grey Wolf began.
The Grey Wolf, The Escape of Adolf Hitler, is a book written by Gerard Williams, which explores the possibility of Hitler escaping his bunkers to settle in the peaceful land of Argentina and South American countries. This book was later made into a documentary produced by Magnus Peterson. According to the filmmakers, Hitler's escape was organized by Martin Bormann, who was a German Nazi Party official and the head of Nazi Party Chancellery. In simpler words, Hitler's personal secretary, who also fled to Argentina and was aided and abetted by the government of Juan Perón.
Now, these are some serious allegations and theories. However, what percentage of this is true is still not clear. The works of Williams with regard to Hitler's death did not receive much recognition up until the FBI started with their investigation and found out how some of their intel matched what Williams was talking about in his book. Obviously, such serious claims were not accepted in the world without criticism. British historian Guy Walters described Dunstan and Williams' theory as 2000% rubbish. In Walter's words, it's an absolute disgrace. There's no substance to it at all. It appeals to the deluded fantasies of conspiracy theorists and has no place whatsoever in historical research. This film or book fell prey to several scandals. We are not going to talk about all of them in detail, but you may find two of them very interesting. Ricardo de Loya, editorial director of Ambito Financiero, is claimed to have provided the tapes of accounts of eyewitness, upon which the whole book of film is based. But Mr. de Loya has declined these claims, stating it very clearly that all of these statements made by the filmmakers are untrue and he has no relation with the publication whatsoever.
The second scandal was brought upon by Abel Basti, an Argentine journalist. He alleged that the Grey Wolf film and book had plagiarized his work and began legal action for compensation. Basti had published the book Bariloche Nazi Guia Turistica in 2004, where he lays forward claims about Adolf Hitler and Eva Braun living in the surroundings of Bariloche for many years after World War II, mentioning also the estate of Inalco as Hitler's refuge.
Another book by British academic Luke Daly Groves that came out recently in the March of 2019 is something that we can't ignore. The author bashes conspiracy theorists here, including Williams. He puts the blame of increase in rumor-mongering around Hitler's death on Soviet Union's erratic and irresponsible behavior. He provides various explanations to support his propositions, which makes this an interesting theory to follow. In September 1945, all Russian newspapers published an item asserting that British intelligence officers were hunting for Hitler in Hamburg, with his appearance being altered by a plastic surgery. Along with this, tons of statements like the one made by Communist Party mouthpiece Pravda that Hitler was very much alive was also circulated. The author points out that such persistence of Soviet claims paved the way for conspiracy theorists. He further elaborates the fact that these statements and actions were given heed at all because they were coming from high officials like Stalin. But Stalin's motives have been under considerable speculation. Some say that he did such things to discredit his rivals or as a part of power play in territorial disputes as allies moved into their zones of occupation in Germany.
Some even label these activities as early examples of fake news and propaganda. Along with this, Daily Groove adds the fact that maybe these actions were a cover-up for their shoddy investigations, as the very first group to enter the bunker was a group of women who went ahead and stole Eva Braun's lingerie.
No, totally understandable, ma'am. After all, post-war inflation and lingerie, most certainly the best wear ever.
He argues that many theorists go ahead and use the painstaking investigative evidences by FBI or CIA as an explanation of their hypothetical narratives. They propose that if Hitler truly died, why investigate it at all? Well, Groove here says that the motives behind these investigations were wider than just finding Hitler. They were more often doing this to prevent rumor circulation, avoid panic, locate Nazis who fled the war, and avoid neo-Nazi activity.
Moreover, the letters were either by mentally unstable people or had no supporting evidence. According to him, Hitler committed suicide all right. To support his views, he mentions several compelling eyewitness interrogations conducted by Trevor Roper. One of them was that of Hermann Carnot, a guard on duty outside the bunker on the day of suicide. He was ordered to go away from Chancellery for a while, and as he returned, he saw the bodies of Hitler and Eva Braun burning 2 meters away from the exit. Another witness account includes someone who overheard Otto Gunsch, Hitler's bodyguard, ordering his chauffeur, Erich Kampka, over a phone call to bring 200 liters of petrol to the bunker. That's what Luke Daly Grove has to say.
Wow, things got pretty twisted, huh? Facts provided on both the sides of this theory are compelling enough. Blame games, political rivalry, plagiarism charges, a secret empire in Antarctica. This theory has it all for you. So even if we can't state for sure what actually happened back in the day, we think this detailed analysis is enough to keep you up and creep you out at the same time. That's all from our side, folks. With the hope that we were able to satisfy your conspiracy cravings, we sign off for today. We will be back with yet another mystery soon enough. Until then, let us know what you think of this dissection in the comments below. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe, and hit the bell icon to conspire with us.